What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 26 of my Eastside Hockey Manager Early Access Let's Play here with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And today, well, I've got for you guys a live comm against one of our little rivals that has kind of emerged from this save, the Capitals. Of course, they knocked us out last year in the playoffs. We're going to be trying to get some revenge, I guess, on them today. Anyway, before that, we've got to talk about what's been going on at the franchise since the last episode, which of course was the start of the season. I've played around 20 games, so yeah, let's just get straight into this. And look in the league, we're dominating. I don't really know what to tell you guys. Obviously, last year we dominated as well, I guess. We won 75% of our games, and it was pretty decent all in all. We had the best defence and the best offence in the league, and things were pretty strong. And I kind of felt like in the summer we'd improved our team a lot, and that's kind of shone through, I guess. You can see here, 20 games played, 17 won, 2 losses, 1 overtime defeat, which is a little bit disappointing perhaps to get that overtime defeat. But all in all, we've been very, very strong. We actually started off the season 14-1. I believe we really stormed away with it. More recently, we've had a little bit of a minor slump in form, but you can see here we are really dominating. In terms of goals scored, we have the most goals scored in the league, 73 and 20. Defensively, we have one of the better defences in the league. It's actually, you know, joint best with a few other teams, including the Capitals, who, granted, have played less games, but are still right up there in the kind of conference table. In the Western Conference, just so you guys can see what's going on, it's pretty tight there. The Blues leading the way with 19 games played, 12 wins, 4 losses and 3 overtime defeats. So that's what's going on there, just so you guys have an idea. The Oilers, who of course we have the pick of this year, are currently in 13th, so that's looking good for us. Hopefully they can continue to, I guess, slip up, and we can just capitalise on getting their first round pick, of course, for this year, and it'll be a really high one for us. But anyway, I guess the first thing we'll do is we'll have a look at some of the results. I'm not going to go through all 20 in too much detail because, as you can see, there's been quite a lot of friendlies. Oh, not friendlies, sorry, just quite a lot of games to cover, but I'll highlight a few of the bigger wins and a few of the bigger, perhaps, results. So, one of the big results was a 7-2 win against the Panthers. You can see here a variety of goal scorers. Radulov grabbing a few. The Russians had a great start to his time at the club and at the franchise. He's got 21 points in 20 games, including 11 goals and 10 assists. So that's a great start to the year for him. You can also see players like Kessel here continuing in the same form as before. He's got 30 points in 20. Van Riemsdyk, again, dominating, 31 points in 20. You kind of expect at this point Kessel and Riemsdyk to really, I guess, be our leading scorers. But they've been helped by Radulov, who's done very well. And even Andre here has done a pretty decent job with 12 points in 20. One thing that I've noticed this year is that whilst our kind of leading line, I guess, in Kessel, Riemsdyk, and then either Bozak or McDavid is getting a decent amount of points, we're not kind of relying on them entirely for them, and we have a lot of players from lines further down really kind of chipping in. Anyway, another notable result was actually the 3-2 defeat against Boston, but you can see here Lukic did get a goal against his former team. You can see so far for this guy, he's got 16 points in 16 games, so he's had another really good start to his time at the franchise. All in all, a bit disappointed to perhaps lose to Boston here, one of only a few defeats that we've had. But we have to kind of get over it and recover, and get over it and recover we did. We then returned to winning ways, going on a really nice winning run. We beat the Lightning, who of course won the Stanley Cup just 2 years ago. We knocked them out in the playoffs last year. You can see in this game Kessel getting the vital goal in the overtime. And we also got another great overtime win against the Habs. We beat the Canadians here 2-0 in the shootout, actually. Kessel and Riemsdyk getting the goals for us. Radulov had got the goal in regulation time for us. We then also beat Boston, who we'd lost to previously, so we managed to regain some dignity there, which was quite pleasing. I can't remember if I talked about last year who actually ended up winning the Stanley Cup, but just so you guys know, it was the Capitals, and then the Preds finished second, and then we were the regular season winners. So that's what happened there. I might have completely forgot about that. Obviously, I mentioned the fact that we lost the Capitals. It went to a Game 7, I do believe, after the Capitals took a lead 3-0 in the series. And then what happened was the Preds pulled it back to 3-3. And then, well, in the decider, the Capitals ran away with it. So apologies that I haven't mentioned that sooner. It's just something that's completely escaped my mind. Anyway, a few other big results. We beat the rivals, the Red Wings, 5-1. A great result, this one. Lukic getting 2, Kessel, Riemsdyk, and Percy getting a goal. Good to see Stuart Percy having a fairly good start to the year. 8 points in 20 for him. If we look at what he did last year, he got 32 points in 70. So he's not quite on course to get the same amount of points as last year, but he's certainly chipped in and done a job for us. Also worth noting Chytran, the player who, of course, we drafted right at the start of this year's draft. He was our first round pick, and we got second pick, obviously, in the first round. And we drafted him, and he's improved a fair bit already, actually. He has had, like, one of his youth player jumps, I guess, in attributes is what I'll call them. You can see his hitting's gone up by 2. His mental stayed largely the same, but all his physicals improved by 1, except strength, which improved by 2. So that was kind of pleasing to see, and we have been playing him a fair bit in the first team. The only other 2 defeats that we had besides the Boston 3-2 defeat was this one against the Hurricanes, which was really disappointing. The thing that made this so disappointing was the fact that we were 3-0 down going into the third, and at the second interval I kind of had to shake things up. We changed things around, and as you can see, we made a comeback. Radulov, Bozak and Andre getting the 3 goals to take it to an overtime. All 3 of those coming 12 minutes from the end of the game, so it was like a great late comeback. However, just a minute and 20 seconds into the overtime, the Hurricanes went up the other end and scored. Skinner getting the vital goal for them, and that saw them win in the overtime. And then we kind of, I guess, flopped immediately again. We actually lost 4-0 against the Lightning, which was really disappointing. They completely outplayed us. I mean, you can see here, of course, we played them before and won in overtime, so I wasn't expecting an easy game, but they just destroyed us away from home, and that hurt. Since those results, though, we have gone on a nice little winning run going into today's game. We beat the Panthers, as you can see here, 4-2 in the end. Eichel getting a goal and an assist. He's not had the best start, Jack Eichel, to his time at the franchise. You can see he's got 2 points all season, and they both came in this game against the Panthers, and he has played a fairly substantial amount of games, but he has improved just recently. His strength's gone up to 20. A lot of his attributes have gone up by 1 or 2 across the board, so I'm quite happy with how he is developing. Also worth noting that Lawson Cruz got on the score sheet in this game. Again, the player's only got 2 points, but he's still young, still improving as well. So that's kind of okay, I guess. And that was a good result. We then beat the Pens 4-3. Granted, it did take a shootout in the end to separate our kind of teams. Kessel getting the 1 goal for us. That was the only one we needed. Crosby, Perrin and Bennett all missing their shootout opportunities for the Pens, so we won that one. And last but not least, we beat the Winnipeg Jets 5-2. Really convincing result. Good performance all round. Good to see Gauthier get a goal. He's a youngster with some potential. He's not done too great for us this year, but he got his first point of the season and his first goal of the season last game, so that was kind of good to see, I guess. Anyway, all in all, it's been a good little spell at the franchise. Of course, I've already showed kind of where we sit in the table. It's really impressive. But if you look at player stats here, you can see Kessel and Riemsdyk leading the way. And Radulov actually 6th highest point scorer in the league at the moment with 21. He's had a great start to his time back in kind of Canada and in North America, I guess you can see. 21 points so far for us, of course. Had that stint at the Preds and then got caught drinking before a game. He's put that behind him. He's looking good for us. Looking further down, Lukic is also here. He looks pretty decent. He looks pretty decent. He's a hard hitter. He's a titan, massive frame, and despite being injury prone, he's had a good start for us so far. Speaking of the roster as a whole, there hasn't been too many injuries. There's been the odd one here and there. For example, Jake Gardner's currently out injured, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's only a small kind of minor groin strain, so he's only out for a week. Palmieri's been out with another kind of strain of a muscle. To be honest, we've not had, as I mentioned, too many injuries to worry about. It's been quite nice. In terms of how we've been lining up, I have been mixing things up. I have been like looking at where my assistant wants to play people. Generally speaking, I have been playing McDavid on the front line, and then that leaves us with a second line of Lukic, Bozak and Radulov, of course. Both wingers, really high point scoring for us, and that's kind of a trend that we've had throughout, well, I guess our numerous seasons so far of the Sabres. It's really our wingers who get the goals for us. Looking further back, you can see this is pretty much how we've been playing. Eichel has been playing as a centre, but he is on a training schedule at the moment to learn to play right wing, and although he has it accomplished, I'd like to see him get natural there. I'll just show you here. That's not what I wanted to do. Practice. If we go to the Eichel kind of training schedule I'm on, he's not actually on it at the moment, and the reason he's not on it is because he was struggling a little bit with fitness a few weeks ago. So now I've remembered that that does need changing. Where are you, Eichel? You're here. You shouldn't be on the right wing one. You should be on the Eichel special training schedule, which is actually the exact same as the right wing schedule, except I am training him to play right wing too as part of this. But he's been kind of doing quite well there. In terms of young players developing, obviously I talked a little bit about the fact Eichel's improved strength-wise, and also Chytrin. Another player who's improved is Ryan Pilon. He's now improving, really decent physicals now. We have some really strong players in our potential future first line. I think Eichel has 20 strength, Cruz has 20 strength, Pilon has 19 strength, Chytrin has 17 strength. McDavid, he's the only one who can't lift. But he's doing a good job for us nevertheless in terms of his development. And he's the top point scorer out of all our youngsters with 14 points in 20, including 13 assists. Really has kind of been a great outlet for us when it comes to just getting those assists and helping, I guess, Riemsdyk and Kessel really on their way. So, yeah, that's what's been going on. In terms of where the Capitals sit, I've already talked about it a little bit, but they are in fourth, so they're not going to make things easy for us today. Hopefully we can get a good result. We are in ridiculously good form. I don't know what the best season ever by an NHL team is in terms of, you know, kind of overall performance. Looks like we're going to have a highlight straight from kickoff, though, by the fact that we're having the national anthem shown. So if you guys know what the most dominant season is by a team, the highest win percentage, I'd love to know. I can't imagine it's anything higher than kind of 85%, but who am I to say that really? But hopefully we can get a good result here. We're on the attack early on. Kessel, wow, okay, 10 seconds in. We light the lamp, fair enough. Not a bad start. Of course, we want to get some revenge against the Capitals here. They won the Stanley Cup last year. They knocked us out of the conference final. I want us to spank them. And spanking them we are right now as we're on the attack. McDavid lays it up to Kessel, who slaps it first time. Makes it 2-0 or 2-0. We are dominating this game right now. A great start. Hopefully we can have more of the same. As I mentioned, we want blood. We want revenge. And now McDavid going forward again will knock it back. And it falls to McDavid, who sets up Kessel. Again, is that Kessel's hat-trick? Is that a first period hat-trick? I think it might be. It is. That's ridiculous. Also, good to see McDavid with 2 assists. This is what we've been doing, boys, so far this year. We've been just tearing teams. New orifices, it feels like. We've just been outperforming teams on the ice. We've looked so good offensively. One of my concerns, kind of having recorded, I guess, the first episode of the season, thinking about it, was I was worried that because of how talented our lines are when it comes to actually going forward, we might suffer when it comes to actually, you know, trying to kill off games. And in terms of, really, your third and fourth line should be your more defensive, slightly tougher lines. We didn't really have that. We have a lot of, you know, very potent players going forward when it comes to our kind of offensive lines further down the lines. However, that kind of, I guess, worry's been kind of eliminated by my mind just because we're scoring so many more than the opposition. But anyway, 3-1 here. The Capitals did get a goal back in the second. We now move into the third. That 2-goal deficit still remains. Just a quick look at the shot charts. We're dominating the game. It's fairly 50-50 when it comes to most departments. In fact, they have won a lot more face-offs. Just that early clinical spell, I guess, in the first has really kind of helped us on our way. And with 2 minutes left, we're looking fairly good here. The way the highlight structure works in the AHM, on key at least, is, of course, every goal is a highlight. But in terms of when it comes to the third period, I believe if the goal deficit between the two teams is 2 or less, the game automatically shows the end of the game as a highlight, kind of the last 2 minutes to build up suspense. So reaching the last 2 minutes and then having a highlight isn't the end of the world for us. But anyway, looking at how things have gone this game, we've performed very well. The clinicalness of Kessel in the first is really what's kind of separated us, I guess, from the Capitals. We took a few opportunities that came our way. We've held on well. We've only conceded one, which is a very good performance defensively. Because of how potent we are going forward, I kind of feel like as long as we only concede 1 or 2, we should win most games, because I have real confidence in our kind of offensive lines to just demolish opposition Ds and, I guess, score goals for fun. It's something that we've done a lot of. And with 20 seconds left, we're looking good here. Even if the Capitals got a goal back, it's probably not going to be enough. But Bernier wants to keep his kind of goals conceded tally to 1. He adds another save to his collection. And Eichel here to hopefully win us the face-off. If you can, that would be fantastic. But that is going to wrap up a fantastic performance there. A good win against the team who showed us up last year. We've shown them up today, though. We extend our lead at the top of the table, which is always good to see. And all in all, that kind of epitomises what we've done so far this year. Our team is improving. Our form is absolutely redonkulous. An 0.881 win percentage. Cannot complain about that one little bit. We add to our goal scoring tally. We ruined the Capitals' defensive record, which was better than ours despite them playing less games. And yeah, what more is there to say of them? What a fantastic start to the year. Just a little bit of a look at more points in detail. I've kind of touched upon the fact that Radulov, Lukic and co were doing really well. McDavid now, after those 2 assists, has 17 points of the season. Yandel, the high-earning D-man, has got 14 assists so far this year, which is absolutely fantastic. 16 points in 21 for him. Looking like a fine acquisition there. Tyler Bozak, despite being demoted a little bit down our ranks, is still performing admirably. He's got 14 points in 19 games, which again is a really impressive kind of contribution. Talked about Andre a little bit, but he's got 12 in 21. And you can see here Yarmouson and Jake Gardner and Percy, to be honest, all contributing great at points-wise, all except Percy in the double figures, which is nice at this early stage in the season. But anyway, that's going to wrap things up from me, guys, I think. So far, so good. If someone wants to let me know what the highest win percentage of a team in the regular season is, that might be something I look to aspire to this year. So far, we've done really well, and barring any kind of, I guess, injury kind of plagues hitting our team and just all our players being out injured, I feel confident about this season and how we're going. I don't think I'm going to be making too many trades. I'm really happy with the balance of our roster overall. And yeah, I'm just eagerly anticipating watching some of our players develop and hopefully going on an absolute tear, not only in the regular season, but hopefully all the way through the playoffs, where we might just be able to clinch our first Stanley Cup after 2 years of disappointment. But anyway, that's going to wrap things up from me. If you've got any comments with regards to the save, leave them down below. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. Don't break it, though. You need to like future videos and stuff. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.